Hello, I'm Chaplain Larry Crabtree, serving with the St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office and the Maryland State Police Leonardtown Barrack.
And I'm Chaplain Charlie Wharton with the St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office.
Charlie, what's another lesson that you've learned over the years?
I think the one that may be the most personal to me is that to make a difference, you have to be willing to expose yourself to chaos and crisis. It's easy to sit around and talk about wanting to make a difference. I mean, how many times have you visited with somebody in one of the helping professions, or somebody that wants to get into one of these helping professions, and they say, I want to make a difference? It's one thing to say that. It's another thing to go out and to be able to walk in the muck and the mire of people's lives and to keep going day after day and to be exposed to that. There is something that maybe only a few people have that are willing to do that.
Yeah, that is difficult. I mean, as chaplains, we see a lot of it. In fact, usually the worst of the worst is when you're going to call for a chaplain. And we have to experience that and deal with it.
And it's something that you almost feel like you have a calling to do. Yeah. There are a lot of chaplains, a lot of ministers, I think, that do a great job maybe in hospital chaplaincy. That is something that I would not be very good at. Yeah. But something about being in crisis, it's important to be willing to expose yourself to that and to feel comfortable in doing it. And I think there's some things that we have to do if we're going to do this effectively. And the first thing is just to be willing to go, to be willing to get that call at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and crawl out of bed and be willing to go. I remember a couple of the murders that we were called out on. I remember one, it was about 25 below. It lived in South Dakota. It seemed like that our murders were when it was 25 or 40 below, you know. Yeah. So you have to be willing to crawl out of that warm, safe bed. You have to prepare yourself to go, but have a balance, not only in knowing what to do, but also I think you almost have to have this blind willingness to go and do it. I know what I'm supposed to do when I get there, but I have to forget what it was like the last time. Or sometimes it just gets too tough to do it.
And helping people is messy.
It is. It is. You're going to get something on you when you go and do that. That may sound a little more graphic than what you want, but you really are. You're going to get some slop on you, and you really have to be willing to do that. And I think your family has to be willing to do that. Maybe that's a whole nother series that we'll do at some point. But you know, I think back on my wife and what she has been through with me. And it's not an easy thing to do, to be a support to somebody who supports other people.
You're sharing how you've learned that you've got to be willing to step in and deal with a lot of this messy stuff. It's in the process, do you have to take care of yourself? You can't just make it go away from your mind.
One of the things that we preach more than anything is self-care and taking care of yourself, of being involved in critical incident stress debriefings and you know, making sure that you really do present yourself in the most emotionally healthy way that you can. It's one thing to say that, but for those of us, especially chaplains, we don't do that very well. We have a tendency to internalize things. Number one, because that is by nature what ministers do. It can be a scary and it can be a dangerous thing for ministers to share what's going on inside. So we are not necessarily those that are going to be on the front lines of going out and finding somebody that we feel safe to talk to. So you have to have that and also know the dynamics and know the steps to be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah, which is real important. You and I have a close friendship and we help each other constantly this way.
And this is one of the few times that I've had somebody that understood from a chaplain's perspective what was going on and how to help each other.
Yeah, amen. Well, Charlie, let's sign off today.
All right.
Be strong.
And be safe.